Hi everybody, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome to the channel. Alright, first card that we have out is Three of Swords and Ace of Swords. This feels like a significant moment. It feels like an important moment where you now may be understanding something that was difficult to maybe wrap your head around before. Having Three of Swords come out can be... In this Three of Swords, you see how it has the swords within it, the three swords within it, which is similar to this sword here. When you just have one, which is the Ace, it's connected with truth and clarity and light and being able to see things, to understand things, learning, which is just understanding how something works, what's going on with it, those types of things. It feels like the truth could have been sort of like hidden behind or sort of obscured in some way because of this. The way that things were sort of like wrapped up, but when you see it, it's sort of like they're banging into one another. It seems like congested. So whatever this was, it feels like something was sort of like packed up or packed away in a way that didn't allow like the truth to be released or like clarity to be seen because of the way that this had like compacted together. You know what this is even reminding me of? When you put like certain plants together, like the bark of certain plants, how would this be exactly? Like the vines and stuff like that. And how if you do that, I don't know if you have to cut it or not. I guess it may just depend on the plant. But if you take like the bark of one plant and you cut it, and you take the bark of another plant and you cut it and you put them together or like wrap them like that, like eventually they're going to sort of like, the word congeal is coming through, but I don't know if that's actually accurate for what the process is. Maybe it is, but it basically like conjuncts together, like the way that you see like a planetary thing happen, and then it can't like separate anymore. But this feels like something that may have done that in some way, but you needing to release this, whatever this was that was like binding it together, so like the different truth aspects of this can sort of come out, so the clarity can come out. Seeing Ace of Swords feels like understanding that, like seeing that, recognizing that. So whatever this was, because this is even feeling like, I'm getting like biological, like physical stuff even that's connected with this, where it like becomes a mass or like a darker aspect of energy because of like the density of it. So it's like gathering and collecting like darkness or shadow or density, that type of stuff, which makes something like heavy or condensed. Having Ace of Swords feels like seeing that. This is even reminding me of like a bump like under the skin or something like that, but it's connected from how something was put together, because like the air also has to do with thoughts. The swords have to do with thoughts, so it can be like our perspective, our perception of something, and how it got all muddled with whatever this like wrapping would be, which I imagine like emotions or something like that, and like the narrative of how those things came together. And it feels like the undoing or like the unbinding and like seeing that clearly. So maybe even too, like this ends up in sort of shifting over to the next card. It can be about sort of seeing something clearly that before, because something had amassed, this is sort of like the liberation or the freedom of that, but freedom through a sense of understanding and clear perception. I'm seeing the Queen of Wands here, which is going to be connected with this. This can be connected with the way that you see yourself, the way that you express yourself, the way that you are nourishing yourself and also your life force, like that being connected with it. Your creativity can be connected to this. The way that you're living your life, those types of things. I want to see further. Wow, okay. I'm looking at Eight of Cups. I'm also seeing Six of Swords. This means that there's some type of situation that you're sort of like liberating yourself from. Because I'm even seeing something where you're like, there's nothing to really do about this. See this Eight of Cups, how it's like, that can't hold water. They're all broken. And so sort of it's not going to function the way that you need it to function because they're cups. So cups are meant to be holding water. So it's meant to be, like metaphorically speaking, it's connected with a situation that can actually like hold some type of like value emotionally, depth emotionally. But here, because of it, it's like it keeps like leaking out, like it can't contain that anymore. And so every time you try to drink from it, it's like nothing is in there. So you're not really getting anything like feeling wise off of this situation because it's done with. So this is something where like one is meant to continue on to find something that can sort of contain the emotional experience, or one that will like nourish the emotional experience. So what I'm seeing is that there may be an acceptance of a situation here of like, oh, it's not gonna sort of like give me what I need feeling wise. Six of Swords would be you moving on from this because you're realizing. So this is like the emotional understanding. This is like a cognition. So I'm seeing this be really tied in, like emotionally and also mentally for you, where you're looking at this situation and seeing it for what it is. It feels like being honest with yourself about this, of what's going on here. And this is going to be the permission slip for you to sort of continue on with your journey. But it's only through like a cognitive understanding of this. I think also too, having Queen of Wands is you being in a position where you're respecting yourself. Because that's what the Queen of Wands is connected with. You being in a situation where the way you move through it, you're honoring yourself, you're honoring your truth, you're honoring your journey, you're honoring like what feels electrifying to you and what doesn't. So it feels like whatever type of thing this was that had been sort of tried to be, I don't know, even the way that this Three of Swords is feeling to me, it feels like trying to make something go together that like doesn't actually go together. Like you see how all of these are sort of just being squished together like that, where it almost like loses its individual essence. Maybe you felt like you were in a situation that wasn't allowing you to like express yourself freely. It can even be that. Or there could have been pain that was associated with you trying to do that. And so trying to like make these things go together, but it doesn't go together in that way. So it feels like there could have been like a forcing or something like that. But then it was like psychologically could have been messing with you in some way, or like even physically or like emotionally, something like that. But having Ace of Swords is like, I understand that now. I'm seeing what was going on, that didn't go together, and I was trying to make that go together. So there's a recognition of like what was happening. So this can even be like what I wanted to be going on versus what was actually going on, like that type of thing. So maybe you even feel like there's a sense of acceptance, but it's through perceiving something clearly. It's through understanding something clearly, and then sort of seeing yourself standing in that situation. So maybe you also feel too like you're finally seeing some type of like clear perspective of yourself and this situation that you've been going through, and also recognizing too that something can't sort of like hold what you need it to hold emotionally, in a feeling sense, that you're not going to get that sort of feeling type of nurturing or nourishing or soothing or healing, like those types of things, or even like a holding space type of experience emotionally from something. And because all of this is being sort of like understood and recognized, having now Six of Swords be here feels like I'm understanding this process, so I don't have to be stuck in the cycle of it anymore. So you're basically like releasing yourself from this, but it's through understanding. That's sort of how you're progressing through this cycle. It looks like something is closing out. And I even get the vibe of this being like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you may know that something difficult is going on now, where there's like the rain coming down, but the rain can be this moment where, like, over here, feeling like you can't get any water from this, which is like the feeling function, the healing, the nurturing, like those types of things, just like feeling in general. Because this can't hold that anymore, because this situation can't hold that anymore, like, you're not going to sort of like get what you need from that. In this card where there's that like, I'm understanding, it looks like it's raining. So it feels like all of that stuff that was like you were missing before, it's like finally coming down now. So even though this can be like a dam being broken and all of that water rushing through, where there can be, it sort of feels like an emotional release of some sort through some type of mental understanding. So there's a relationship here between the air and the water energy. So I'm seeing everything pour down, and it can feel almost like overwhelming or overstimulating, or like a lot to even process emotionally. However, like, water is also something that, like, it's going to, when the water stops, it's going to be like food for whatever needs to grow. And up here shows like it's going to be ending too. So whatever this like gushing or like this overwhelming feeling that's coming through, the overwhelming sort of experience of what's happening, because here is like a blockage or something being stopped up, and here's like all of it coming down. Having the rainbow up there is like hope and those types of things. Again, like the light at the end of the tunnel. So you know that even though something is like rebalancing itself, and so you're sort of in the midst of that process, at the same time, I'm getting that there's a sense of like hope that's connected with this, and that things are going to be all right. Because it can even feel too like something was stopped up because of this, and you weren't able to like feel, or you weren't like getting what you needed from an emotional standpoint. And now it feels like things are going to be all right, and you may have not been feeling like that before. But the vibe that I get from this is like you're still going through it, but you're like towards the end of the process, because it feels like you're not completely out, but you basically like solved what you needed to, and it's just a matter of like walking the final like 10 feet out of this situation, and that's like what this is connected with. I'm also seeing the Emperor here too, so this can be connected with like your livelihood, or like a really important aspect of your life, or even prospect within your life, like those types of things. This is like a serious matter is what this would feel like to you. Like important life stuff, that type of thing. That can be about like your journey, about your mission, about your purpose, those types of things. So that's what I'm seeing is going on here. Wow, the Two of Cups. So maybe this could have felt... Two of Cups and Two of Swords. Is this about a relationship? I'm seeing you at the center of this. So for some of you, there may be another person involved. Maybe for many of you, there's another person involved in this, but this is your story, is what I'm seeing. Like, seeing the Queen of Wands be at the center of this. This is about your journey. It's about you staying true to yourself. It's also about what you care about and what's worth like fighting for, protecting, what holds value to you, you know, like that type of stuff. Especially when it comes to the things that you create, even the way that you live your life, through shining and infusing your choices with your authenticity. Yeah, maybe you were trying to make something go together that just doesn't go together, but this would have been from a place of, because Three of Swords is connected with pain, you can see this as being from like an unhealed place, or like a place where there's still a place where there's still like a lack of acceptance. Guys, I'm sorry. This candle is driving me nuts. So, looking at the Two of Cups and also looking at the Two of Swords here, you can feel like this is a decision that needs to be made for you to feel like there's more cohesion within your life. So you can, because you're staying true to yourself, it's going to help you feel like you're actually seeing yourself within your life. And maybe that was something that you hadn't been feeling before because of whatever it was that was going on. Two of Swords feels like bringing something together so we can finally see, so we can finally understand. But Two of Swords can also be connected with like cognitive dissonance as well. Like, is this the truth or is this the truth? Like, what's really going on? And it feels like holding that space in between. Like, dialectic, that type of thing. And how that relates to you, because I'm seeing it all come back to you. It all comes back to you, how you're feeling about yourself. And also, I'm getting this strong energy of this being about like how much you respect yourself, like how much you're honoring yourself, like that type of thing. How true you're staying to yourself, like that sort of thing. So you think about the archetype of this energy, you think about somebody that you would like look up to and really admire the way that they live their life, because they live it from a space of like honesty and they're really themselves. It's like honoring that part within you that may at times be easier to see in other people. And it's about like taking that whole sort of like narrative and notion and applying it to yourself and making decisions from that perspective. But some of you may find it very valuable to like look at somebody that you admire and be like, what would they do in this situation? And as you're sort of finding your footing and developing that type of foundation for yourself, it may be helpful for you. As we, many times when we're unsure of what to do or how to tap into that energy ourselves, can find inspiration through others that model those things for us that we're trying to like understand ourselves. You know, the irony and how I feel like this candle sort of like ties into all of this, right? Because this whole time I was trying to keep the flame alive within this, but then at the end of the day, it's like it had to go out. Like, it's just, I guess, not the time to be lighting this. Like, it just, something didn't stick. And maybe something was going on within a situation like that. Like, as much as you tried, I'm like pouring the wax out, like moving it around, trying to get it. It just like, it's not gonna prosper within this situation. Like, it needs something else. Or it's just like not the time for this to be happening. Maybe something like that was going on for you, where you're like trying to fan the flames and it's just, it wasn't working. Because I'm also seeing too, you be in this spot where there's like a grand realization that you're making. But this Four of Swords is like being able to take that step back rather than doing, trying. It's like just letting things be and then seeing how it actually is. So I'm seeing you're understanding something now. And again, seeing like your place within sort of this cycle, within this like program, within this situation. You could have also been trying to make something work where, like, for those of you that this is based on a situation with a relationship, you could have been trying to make things work with you and another person. And now getting to this point where you're realizing that this situation only works when you're tight like that with yourself. And maybe you felt like that wasn't what was happening here. And hadn't been seeing that before either, because we have the Two of Swords, which I have been lately reading the Two of Swords as like not seeing something yet, or having these two things that are sort of conflicting with one another. Like I have this narrative and I have this narrative, and you can feel like it feels like an opposition, like I'm going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and trying to like reconcile something and needing to sort of bring this together. So yeah, you could have been trying to make something work outside of yourself, and then come to this realization that like, oh, it has to be functioning within me, and then naturally those things are going to follow and be reflected. But I can't like have it going on the outside and not on the inside. Like it just doesn't work. It's not how the energy works. It's like against the laws, against the principles. Climbing to the top of this realization. Feels like now you're coming face to face with whatever situation this is, and like recognizing it, like really seeing it for what it is, with a sense of insight that maybe you didn't have before. Maybe it's not that you didn't have it, it's just that you weren't like tuned into it, because it's always there, just waiting to be realized. Looks like you're able to move forward now. You have what you need. All right. Very nice. You could have felt like your energy was getting zapped from this situation. I'm seeing like the main characters be fire energies. So this has to do with like what you're doing and where you're going in your direction in life, even, because I'm seeing Knight of Wands. Like us ending. So we start with the Three of Swords, which just feels like you needing to work something out mentally, but something that had been like paining you. Like the way that I was seeing this energy, it was feeling like something that had like amassed in some type of way, and you needing to sort of like unravel this whole thing in order to clear it. But before, you could have felt like it was becoming a block. So this is like the unraveling of that, so you can actually see what was happening. So that thing needed to be addressed. This could have also been so painful that it was like distracting you from other things too, where it was like, address me, can't pay attention to anything else because I keep grabbing your attention because I need to be addressed, like that type of thing. And then we end with Knight of Wands, which is you going on your merry little way here, wherever it is that you're going. But now you have a sense of direction that before you could have felt like the compass wasn't working, because every time you try to tune into that, this other thing was calling out to you to pay attention to it. Like it was too loud and it was too much, and you couldn't get away from it for good reason too. It needed to be addressed. But now ending with the Knight of Wands over here feels like I had that sense of direction again. I had that sense of understanding. Like I know what I need to do. I know how to move forward. Like those types of things. Like carry on with your journey. You may not totally feel like that, but I'm getting it like starting to like feel the beat of that again. Even if it doesn't, like it's going to take a little bit to saturate everything, but I'm seeing the process is beginning now. So it feels like whatever that was stopped up. I will say whatever, however you want to put it, like the aspect of energy that this was impacting for you would be the aspects of energy that fire is related to. So this could have been impacting your root, it could have been impacting your sacral, it could have been impacting your solar plexus, because I'm seeing a lot of like red, yellow, orange here. So it feels like it was connected with those types of things, which is like your will to live and what you're doing with your life and what inspires you to get up in the morning, you know, those types of things, and also like how you're feeling about yourself and how you're moving through life, and you doing things that matter to you and are important. Because when you're doing things that you're like, this doesn't matter to me or this isn't important, it's like, what am I even doing any of this for, you know? It feels like the color sort of drains out of life, and now I'm seeing it sort of bleed back in. This does feel like a reconciliation, but between you and yourself. Like whatever that was that had been feeling split within you is now coming back together. So you're feeling like at peace with yourself, and you feel like, I do get this vibe again that you haven't totally cleared this, but you just have like 10 more steps till you're at the end of this, and then it's all going to be finalized. Like this is going to be completed, okay? You see the path is clear, and you know the path that stands out among all the rest. Follow that way. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.